and the kind of box I would want to paint, I just started to think about like what's one of the main activities that like people in my neighborhood do, and me and my daughter go bike riding all the time, especially around Halloween and Christmas time to look at all the displays and just enjoy the weather during that season. So I wanted to make a mural of a joyful bike ride, and that's what it is. It's a blissful joyride. This is part of our Super Bloom, and this is actually this street on Honeycutt, which was just like a month ago, was all blown up with these yellow trees and debris pieces out there. So it's just one of my favorites because it reminds me of the amount of fun times we had together going bike riding every night.
And this piece directly represents you and your family life and your family together. Describe that for us.
Absolutely. Like we love going on bike rides and going around the neighborhoods. We love getting picnics. We'll pick up Chipotle and then we'll just, find a spot under a tree and just hang out. And it's one of those things where she'll want to do it every night and she gets to talk about the end of her day and open up, and it's just a really fun event for us to do. And I think as I've been doing this piece and bike riders have come by, it's been fun to see families together see this and feel like they're being captured from Maricopa.
What does it mean to you to have this gorgeous public artwork up in your city?
Just the world. I'm so excited. I'm excited to have seeing the 9 other pieces that are going to be out there, just to see what everybody has and everybody's unique fingerprint and art, and seeing what they're going to come up with. I'm just excited to see more of this throughout the city because I think it just really brings out the community to life.
It does. Thank you so much for being a part of our public art initiative here in the city of Maricopa. Thank you so much for gifting our community with your talents. It's beautiful and something that people can really enjoy and last a really long time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome back to the program where the questions are answers and the answers don't stop. It's Maricopa's favorite game show, Permit or Not. I'm your host, Luis Vila, and I'd like to remind our viewers today that if you have any questions regarding any of the categories today, please leave them in the comments below. Now let's take a look at the board. The categories today are city services, do I need a permit for that? What's being developed? City events, library, and roads. Bob, why don't you lead things off for us?
Thank you, Luis. I'll take a, do I need a permit for that, for 200?
I would like to pour a slab of concrete in my backyard. Do I need a permit for that?
What is no?
That is correct. Slabs or pavers in your backyard are up to the owner's discretion. However, any work being done in the front yard, you'll need to contact your HOA.
I'll take permits for 600.
My pool needs to be drained. Do I need a permit for that?
Yes. I mean, what is yes? What is no?
That is correct. Pro tip, if you're looking to drain the water in your pool, you'll find 2 black water conduits in the front of your home. One of them leads directly to sewage. Plug it in and you're ready to begin draining. However, you'll need to contact Global Water first, as the pool water needs to be of a specific pH level before you can begin the draining. So that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tune in next time to Permit or Not, and until then, feel free to visit www.maricopa-az.gov for all of your questions regarding city events, permits, and more. Or leave us a comment below and we'll be sure to get back to you.
This is awesome to see the representation and to see how many people come out. It's all the different colors that are represented here in Maricopa. It's really neat.
Yeah, we're excited to try the food options and to see the performances.
Copa Cultural event has been great so far. A lot of great food trucks here, a lot of things to do for the kids, and a lot of really interesting vendors. We love this city. We love living here, and we moved here from East Mesa, and it's been an awesome decision.
Hello. Wow, I love seeing people here to visit with us during City Council meeting. Thank you and welcome to all of you. This is our May 21st regular City Council meeting, and at this time I'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to first have an invocation by Pastor Kevin Teeling from the Door Church of Maricopa, followed by a Pledge of Allegiance by Vice Mayor Learman. Please rise if you're able.
Let's bow and pray. Lord God and Heavenly Father, we pause to acknowledge you as King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Sovereign Creator, and we pause to invite your blessing into this meeting. As we approach this Memorial Day holiday, we give thanks both to for those who have died protecting our nation and our freedoms, and for that nation and those freedoms for which they died. And we ask you, Father, that you would cause those freedoms and those things for which they died to continue, that both in our nation as a whole and in this community, the citizens would dwell together in peace and in harmony and in good order, that the government, both of our nation and of our city in particular here gathered, would be helped to govern well and faithfully, and that you would protect each member of our city council, city government, public servants, and public defenders, and give them wisdom and grace to go about their duties. Most of all, Father, as we ask your presence in this meeting tonight, we give thanks on this, as we approach this Memorial Day holiday, for the principle that's illustrated by the sacrifice of these brave service members who've died for our nation. Greater love has no one than that a person would lay down his life for their friends. And we thank you that most of all this was embodied in Jesus Christ, your Son. And I pray that all here would come to know that, not just as a theory, but as a personal acknowledgement. We give you thanks for all that's going to happen tonight, and we pray your blessing upon it. In the name of Jesus Christ, your Son. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Teeling and Vice Mayor Learman. Thank you very much. That'll take us to roll call.
Councilmember Gettle.
Present.
Councilmember Knorr.
Present.
Councilmember Marsh.
Here.
Councilmember Manfredi.
Here.
Councilmember Wade.
Here.
Vice Mayor Learman.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Here.
Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. And that'll take us to proclamations. You can see on the agenda we have one proclamation and 3 presentations tonight. I think that has something to do with the room being full. That's pretty cool. So we'll start off with the proclamation, and I'll meet you down there. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. This proclamation says, whereas emergency medical service is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services team are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of the emergency medical services provided by designating the Emergency Medical Service Week. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Smith, Mayor of the City of Maricopa, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th to the 25th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Our city will proudly shine a light on the people that inspire others to serve and who help make the City of Maricopa a very special place to live. Let's give them a hand.
Thank you. My name is Brad Patassi. I'm the fire chief that has the privilege of representing an incredible city and an incredible department full of dedicated men and women that are here for you. You know, EMS Week, Emergency Medical Service Week, is a big umbrella for the care that's provided in this community. It's the men and women standing behind me that will answer that call 24 hours a day with no prejudgment. You call, we go. We're going to tend to any medical emergency or any other type of emergency, and we're going to deliver the best care that we can because we're dedicated to the resilience and durability of this community. And that's reflected 24 hours a day, roughly 6,200 times a year within the city of Maricopa. We want to thank our partners in the local hospital system, the physicians that we work with, because it may start in the home, but that care for the residents extends through the EMS pre-hospital system to definitive care. So we're just a link of that chain, but we are incredibly proud of the ability to take care of this community. We're incredibly proud of the dedicated men and women that have stood up, answered the call, and chosen the City of Maricopa to be the place that they are sacrificing for and dedicating their time for. And we just want to thank you. You know, the reception, the standing ovation is a reflection of the commitment of the city to us as well and the citizens. And we are extremely proud to be here for you. We'll be here for you in your time of need. And today is all about recognizing those that have answered that call. So the folks behind us, I answer emails more than I answer calls. The folks behind me are the ones doing it on the front line with the other 72 members of the fire medical department as well. So again, thank you very much. Madam Mayor, Council, City Management, we really appreciate it, and we're here for you. Just understand that if that time comes, and hopefully it doesn't, but you're going to have some of the best in the state answering your call in this community. So with that, thank you all for what you do every day, and we appreciate it.
Want to pick picture? Yeah. All right, that'll take us to our next fun event, the Maricopa Citizen Leadership Spring 2024 graduates. Bring forward Luis and Quinn.
Hi, good evening. I'm excited to announce that the 23rd session of the Maricopa Citizen Leadership Academy has just ended, and tonight we're here to recognize the 19 individuals who have completed all of the requirements, joining 376 others who have previously completed the academy. For those who may not know, the Maricopa Citizen Leadership Academy gives our residents an in-depth insight into the inner workings of our local government, and allows them to speak with elected officials, members of with our senior leadership team, and takes them through informational sessions such as Maricopa's history, public safety, and economic development. If you guys are interested in learning more or want to attend the Academy in the future, we host 2 sessions every year in the spring and in the winter. So stay tuned for our winter session. We'll be making those announcements sometime later this summer. So without further ado, I'd like to call up all of the graduates of the Academy for this session. So you please come up, grab your certificate, and I'd ask you just stand for a moment afterwards so we can take some photographs. All right, William Ross. Zaria Vasquez. Yanni Daskalakis. Velia Duran. Leon Potter. Ruby Guruli. Russell Miller. Robert Klobb. Chad Binder. Dorothy Welsh. Katie Starnes. Justin Lawrence. Harriet Phelps. Patricia Hesse. Ilani Alexander. James Minars. Don Reese. Betty McGee. And Amanda Atler.
All right, well, that was fun. And I encourage you, I actually participated and graduated from the very first class. And it's just been nothing but spectacular from the people that I know that have attended it. So please consider it the next time it comes around in the fall. That'll take us to item 3.3, where it's a presentation from Pinnell Partnership President and CEO Tony Smith.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for an opportunity to be before you again, Madam Mayor and council members. For the record, yes, I am Tony Smith, President and CEO of Pinal Partnership. Pinal Partnership tries to get to all the cities and towns on an annual basis just to update on some of the activities the Pinal Partnership is engaged in. We're all about economic development and prosperity, and we do it in so many ways. And we are very happy that Vice Mayor Learman is one of our board members, and we get participation from several of your council members in our committees. I assume this is the clicker for my presentation, okay? Okay, there we go. Green button means forward. As I mentioned, Pinal Partnership, we serve all of Pinal County and our communities. We're a 501c6 organization, nonprofit, which the C6 allows us to do some limited lobbying efforts. We oftentimes lobby on the benefit of various industries, whether it's our utilities or mining industry or solar or whatever. We represent sometimes before the state legislature, sometimes before the Arizona Corporation Commission, and et cetera. We have 24 board of directors, and as I mentioned, Amber Learman, Vice Mayor, is one of our board directors representing the city of Maricopa. And we have everything from institutions to corporate partners to higher learning. It is a wide mix of partners that we have that make up the partnership. Well, there's our mission. It's all about economic development and prosperity, as I mentioned, but I think it's so important how we accomplish the mission. And we accomplish it in three particular ways. One of the most popular thing, and we get most of our activity, sometimes around 150 or plus, at our breakfast events once a month. We have the breakfast events in order to inform and communicate various important issues. Then second, we have committees. We have around 8 committees, and as I mentioned, several of council members have participated. To look forward, Council Member Norf, when you get your feet on the ground, of which I think you are very apt at getting that very quickly, that look over the Pinal Partnership committees, and if you have one of special interest, I think you'll enjoy the various other interests that you find from some of your peers. Then we also do very specific projects. We were born in supporting transportation. Back in 2008 we were created, no, it's 2005 we were created, and it was all about transportation for a growing county, what we can do in order to promote and help with some of the various transportation programs. As I mentioned, we have breakfast on once a month, and we will have our latest breakfast Friday at Central Arizona College's main campus, and we're going to have a panel, very interesting panel with our mining companies. We're in Pinal County very blessed of natural resources of copper, and I think that copper is not only feeding the jobs that we need in Pinal County, but it also provides the copper for a renewable energy market and electric car market that is budding and doing very, very well here in Pinal County. We also have city manager updates, mayor updates. I welcome Ben Bitter to the panel when that time comes.
But only if he makes a stance like that. Ricky Horace, yeah.
Yeah, and so Ben, I've had the pleasure of working with you in several other venues, and congratulations, and I know you're doing a fine job for the city of Maricopa, and with the rest of the city managers, we welcome you. Water is very, very important in Pinal County in Arizona, and we focus several times, it seems like, on water or how it's related to economic development. One of our most popular breakfast events, and we have to go to a new venue all time, down at Wild Horse Pass, is Elliott Pollock's economic forecast. That is always in December. They forecast, Danny Court is on that staff and now does it. Elliott Pollock retired. But we look at what is the outlook for Pinal County and Arizona for the coming years. As I mentioned, transportation, we hit that a couple times a year, and this is a very important year for transportation and involvement from Pinal Partnership, because once again, we're out there in front doing what we can in order to promote various propositions. The latest proposition will be on the November ballot, and we're already out front helping to support that. This is the half-cent road maintenance fund. This is the monies that are, it's not a new tax, nor is it a tax increase. It's just merely extending it. It will expire in 2026, and these are monies that go to the city of Maricopa and the other cities across Pinal County. So this is important for your revenue stream, and I think we'll be saying more about that in the future. And then whatever is the latest topic of interest, we really don't announce what our topic's going to be until we get pretty close, because we want to make it very interesting for our audience. As I mentioned, we have committees, and these are the committees that are chaired by subject matter experts or industry experts. We have a board liaison that is also there, that is supporting, but we do accomplish two things. We are either problem solving or we're informing. Economic development, where I believe this week our economic development meeting will be in the city of Maricopa at this facility. And so James Smith is our chair of the Economic Development Committee, and we will be coming down to the city of Maricopa and get an update for the activities at the city of Maricopa. We take it around the county, and every city gets to report, and then we get to hear from the county. But it's all the economic development professionals are joined together, and they help them understand what is happening in that area. Government relations stays busy all year, but they really have been busy in this last session. There's a lot of bills, and I don't need to be preaching to the choir, but you are all there very engaged in the legislative activities. So we have representatives come and talk about what some of the bills they're working on or sponsoring, or some of the committees they're working on, and then our committee reports back as far as do we need to be active and help support or work against some of these bills. So we're proactive in that area also. As mentioned, transportation infrastructure. Transportation is more than just road infrastructure. We also have a very active airport subcommittee, and with a number of airports in Pinal County, the couple owned by the county, but Coolidge, Eloy, some of these others, Casa Grande, they have very active economic development activities associated with their airports. And so we have that little subgroup that's working on transportation, and also occasionally on rail transportation also. Business and education, they mainly have been working on workforce development, and when we are getting the numbers of jobs within this county in not only the hundreds but thousands, it is a full-time effort for the county and others, the Workforce Development Board and others, to be able to supply the workforce necessary for this growing county. Water resources, they've completed a basin study that was the Maricopa, Stanfield, Eloy basin study. basically looking at our supply of water versus our need. And we recognize there's a shortfall, so we put together some mitigating ways in which we can close that gap. This is a Bureau of Reclamation project that was funded by them. And now we've completed the project. It's been submitted to that agency for review and acceptance. And now we're positioning ourselves for some grant money in order to take care of those and to work some of those mitigating steps in order to close the gap between what we is provided versus what the need is. Health and Human Services, I think Vice Mayor Learman, you've been very active on that. I believe mainly it's looking at housing and other areas. Maybe it's mental health. I think they're doing a great job, and we appreciate your participation. Open Space and Trails has been a committee that's been around for a long time. It's so important when we are trying to compete with businesses thinking of moving from California, Utah, Colorado, Texas, et cetera, because a lot of those folks are used to outdoor activities. Pinal County is blessed with a lot of beautiful scenery, a lot of good outdoor activities, but a lot of it we just don't say, we don't mention, we don't promote it enough. And then there's also the trail systems. The county is getting ready to open up a 40-some mile segment that will connect basically Marana with Florence. These trail systems are very important for that outdoor activity. But we're also trying to preserve those open spaces for the next generations. Out 6 miles to the west of City Maricopa is the Palo Verde Regional Park. And I understand the phase 1 for that park will be for BIA will be available to work and is the planning stages involved in that. Renewable energy is our latest. This is mostly solar, but it also affects a number of other industry areas, but is a growing interest. And with the need for solar and electricity to put the power to the grid, this is a very viable and high market energy that we're going to be having in Pinal County. Some of our, and as I mentioned, we do projects. As I said, I was personally very active representing Pinal Partnership in the Pinal RTA and Pinal County Transportation ballot election that unfortunately lost by 2,800 votes, but I look forward to the next year when that may come back, and I know there's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a new map, a new funding model, and I'm sure the partnership will be there to support that. We partnered with Pinal County to create this interactive map application. This was something I recognized as I was completing my time as county supervisor, is we don't have a map that we can communicate with site developers and site selectors that can basically, with your smartphone, be able to go to the county website and look at a certain area and see all the various assets. So I worked with the county and their team, and they came up with, and now they've deployed, and I think it's coming on to about 18 months old, an interactive map that you can go to the city of Maricopa and the area, and then you can start putting layers on and click them on and off and see some of the assets that you site developers and site selectors find interesting. We also printed, and many of you have received the updated wall map. These come in a couple sizes, but they have all the very important assets, some of the newest projects and largest economic development activities, the main roads, rail, et cetera. So that is very useful, and a lot of the people enjoy having a wall map for reference And I know I think in graphic terms, and so we find that that's a very popular item. Some of our current projects is renewing the half-cent transportation maintenance fund, as I mentioned. And then we also have fun in Pinal Partnership. We're going to have a golf tournament in September the 20th at Wild Horse Pass at the Whirlwind Golf Course. And then on August 8th, we're going to have a baseball, the Diamondbacks game, where we've rented a suite, and we're going to have a fun time at the ballpark. In the last year, we launched the Emerging Leaders Initiative, and it's really not age-based. It's really, we're looking for the kind of the middle manager types, or those who are kind of moving up in their career. And if that has launched, and they now have done several fun activities. I think Vice Mayor Learman, you showed them how to bowl down at the bowling alley, and I guess you're very impressive as a bowler. But thank you for taking the time and being with the Emerging Leaders. I know they've did something in Casa Grande, and they've have about 3 or 4 activities, but this is a very popular group. They're very enthused, and they're doing, I think, going to really make their mark. And they're going to also be there to help us on our golf tournament and get engaged in a number of items. And that's my presentation. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I certainly appreciate, council members, your involvement in Pinal Partnership. And Madam Mayor, I'm open for any questions.
Absolutely. Council, any comments, questions that you'd like to address in this direction? Yes, Vice Mayor Learman.
I think the key word for Pinal Partnership is partnership. It does matter what's going on in the region and in our county, and building those relationships are so valuable. I just want to share one example. I did serve on the Business and Education Committee for quite some time, and Pinal Partnership is very strategic. So I don't know if you know, but there is a pipeline for our students here in Maricopa. If you attend a Maricopa High School, you can go to CAC, and they will train you to work at Lucid Motors. And there's a gentleman in Pinal Partnership. He came to the Emerging Leaders event. He's a 2022 graduate from Maricopa High School, working at Lucid Motors right now with a high-paying job, and is a very happy young man. And so those are the types of partnerships that Pinal Partnership helps connect. And so when we have a need in the city of Maricopa or another city, we get together and brainstorm. And how do we work together to be productive, to be a great county? We have an amazing county with 500,000 people, and Pinal Partnership is trying to steward this county the best that we possibly can. We have amazing leaders in this county, and so it's wonderful when we can come together and join together on initiatives and get some things done. So, very good example.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilmember Knorr.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to follow up on your comment about getting involved in the committees. Vice Mayor Learman already got me involved in the Health and Human Services Committee, so we're well on our way.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any additional comments? Councilmember Marsh.
Yeah, I'm on the Government Relations Committee.
I thought you may be.
And that's
yes.
a very sharp group of people. We're keeping an eye on the legislature and all the bills that impact Pinal County. So thanks for that.
Thank you for your comments.
Yeah. Just in addition to that, you brought up the Open Trails and Space and Trails Committee, and I was listening on to their meeting the other day, and was very pleased to hear, as you indicated, that Phase 1 is ready to go forward, and hopefully will make it into Pinal County's budget. And the good news is, Councilmember Gettle, you'll be really impressed with this, they have included in that Phase 1 the archery range. And so the archery group has been involved in that conversation, And it's something that came out of our futures meeting, that there was a big group of folks, residents in the city of Maricopa, that wanted an archery range, and the city's not ready for something like that, but we definitely communicated with Pinal County, and the group did as well, and that looks like a very positive thing that will go into the phase 1 for the Palo Verde Regional. So this stuff is awesome, the way it all works together, and the partnership, like Vice Mayor Learman indicated. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I saved the presentation at the City of Maricopa to the last one, the best city council and my favorite mayor.
That's good. Okay, that'll take us to presentation 24-09, and this presentation is given by Global Water.
Well, good evening, Mayor Smith, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. I'm John Corwin, Vice President and General Manager of Global Water Resources. And I'm excited to announce a cohort, a new employee at Global Water, Andrew Miller, who joined us at the end of January as our regional manager. So Andrew will be giving part of the presentation tonight, and great to have him on the team and helping to contribute to everything that we're doing here in the city of Maricopa. So I'll let Andrew kind of give the introduction in the first half of the presentation, and then I'll be back to provide some additional updates.
Thank you, John. Good evening, council members and members of the public. As John mentioned, my name is Andrew Miller. I'm the regional manager with Global Water. Joined here 4 months ago, getting very well adapted. Even got to bowl with Vice Mayor Learman. And got my family here. We came over from Texas. I've got about 13 years in the industry experience over there. I'm very excited for the partnership that we have here with Global Water in the city. So as John mentioned, we're going to run through a couple of things, and then I'll pass it over to him to sort of lead us home here. So we're going to talk about, obviously, the partnership that Global has with the city, walk through some of the projects we've completed in 2023, what we've got slated for 2024, and then John will step up and discuss a preview of a rate case that's coming down the pipeline in the next few years. Water resources update, and then wrap up with a customer assistance program review that we have with Global. So obviously, the city and Global Water have a very tight partnership. We recently celebrated the 20-year anniversary there with the sort of ribbon cutting ceremony there at Lakeview Park, and obviously even sponsoring last year with the Wild West Music Fest. And then most recently, and most prominently, with the painting that Mari did, the mural there on Groves Tank on Maricopa Casa Grande Highway. Just a lot of different examples of ways that Global Water and the city have partnered together in more than just utility servicing. Talking through some of the history here with the potable water here, this chart shows average pumped per day in million gallons, showing for 2021, 2022, and into 2023 as well. And you can see it's a consistent increase. There's a lot of growth going on. Summer demand was up 30% from 2021 to 2023. That's unprecedented growth for anywhere. It's very exciting. And our peak day, we had 10 million gallons that was consumed in comparison to 9 million in 2021. A lot of that was driven by growth. Construction water up 250%. Again, these are not normal numbers. It's very exciting, the amount of growth that's going on here in Maricopa. And, you know, the takeaway from this is, even though we saw that exponential increase in demand, Global was able to meet all of that demand seamlessly. There weren't interruptions in service. We were able to meet that 30% spike. But obviously, future growth is going to require more resources. And that's going to be some of the things that we address here in the different projects. So this Neely East well, one of the 2023 highlighted projects, is a potable water production well. It's going to add 1.7 million gallons a day in production capacity. And these wells are important not just because of additional capacity, but also resiliency and redundancy, so that if we do have a well that needs to be rehabbed, we aren't going to see any shortage in availability for the public. Odor control enhancements at our lift stations. This enhanced odor mitigation helps to decrease the amount of hydrogen sulfide. It's a natural occurring gas in the collection system, but it does contribute to odors. It does contribute to deterioration in both the system and at the facility. So those are some exciting things we've been doing. And then, of course, we also have been working on the auction easement here. We did obtain approval with the Auction Council, and right now it's going through the final process for the Bureau of Indian Affairs approval. That's the line that's going to run out 238 past Moonlight Ridge to Apex. It's going to service that whole area, so it's a really exciting opportunity to open up even more the opportunities for development in Maricopa. And then another highlight, the Southwest area recommissioning. This was an area that prior to 2008 was seeing a lot of growth, and so Global Water put a lot of resources into developing service for that area, which of course then 2008 happened, and there was a lot of stall in that area, but it has now been recommissioned. We are back online as of July 1st of last year. Right now, that's servicing about 200 homes, and that's going to grow to 600 just within that first phase. And so that's a really exciting growth opportunity. And then lastly, we had some increases in our pumping capacity at Rancho Mirage, improving some of the booster pumps and equipments that are there. 4 of those pumps were upgraded that gave, again, additional pumping capacity, but then also resiliency, so if a pump goes out, the rest are able to hold that while everything gets repaired and fixed. A key thing in this also, there's a lot of automation built into a lot of the things that we're doing. And at this facility especially, all of these new pumps and motors are tied into our SCADA that have a lot of automation and controls that decreases the amount of fluctuation in the system with the pressures. That helps not have main breaks, which is a great thing, especially during the summer months. You don't want a whole lot of those main breaks because of pressure fluctuations. This is going to help mitigate that significantly. 2024 planned projects. This one we can actually put as completed projects. This actually was completed in March and put online. It did have an accelerated timeline. Normally a project of this nature would take several years to complete, but there was a lot of coordination with our staff, our consultants, and a lot of contributing members that got this online in 6 months. And this facility helps to treat naturally occurring uranium in the groundwater system. And several tests have been performed. All of them are showing this is working exactly as it needed to, so we're very excited. That's again servicing that southwest area. Another well, the Sereno well, we're commissioning that. There's a transmission line that's going to be another 1.1 million gallons a day in capacity, and again, system resiliency. This one is, I find it the most interesting, the sewer screening initiative. So at our water reclamation facility where all the wastewater comes in, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of baby wipes, Clorox wipes, all manner of things that get flushed down the toilet, and they end up here at our plant. And they ultimately rag up our systems, slow down pumps, things have to get pulled out. You can see it's a huge undertaking, especially making sure that our employees are safe while they're treating all of this. And so this new sewer screening initiative is going to basically catch most, if not all of that, before it gets into the system. And so we're not going to have pumps that are down. We're not going to have issues where our employees are having to be in situations where they're dealing with a lot of very nasty things. And then, of course, probably the one y'all are most excited about, the Southwest Maricopa infrastructure and expansion there with Lowe's and the Rinesman Commons development. We're working on sewer line extensions, water line extensions, a new lift station being put in, all to service that huge growth area that's happening down there near Groves. Very exciting stuff. We're working through some of the final permitting and easements, but that'll be kicking off very soon. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to John to walk through the rest.
All right, thanks, Andrew, and it's always fun to highlight all the things that kind of happen behind the scenes that no one ever sees, but are super important to what we do on a daily basis. So glad we could highlight those. I did want to talk briefly, I think we've talked to a few of you about a rate case that's well out in the future, and so we're getting way ahead of it. So we just want to start that communication well in advance so people are aware of it and can be part of the process. And so that's what I'm presenting on today, just briefly. So some of the drivers of the rate case, kind of the overarching theme is we believe in smaller, more frequent rate cases, and that's, in the interest of rate gradualism versus waiting 10 years and having a significant increase. Nobody likes that. So kind of smaller, more periodic increases is the overall approach. The necessity, as Andrew highlighted, and unfortunately this slide is now dated officially as of today, but with the amount of growth that's going on in the city of Maricopa, I think officially identified as the 5th fastest growing city in the United States. So as part of keeping up with that growth, obviously a lot of deployment of assets and infrastructure to ensure that we can provide water and wastewater services for that. Additionally, the rates that we're currently operating on are based on a 2019 test year. So over the past 5 years, we all know that there's been a significant amount of inflation. That's been particularly acute in the utility business. An example of that is, brass products. We use a lot of brass products. Meters, we used to be able to buy a meter for about $200 for the typical residential customer. It's now about $300 for that same meter. So we've seen a lot of examples similar to that in the utility industry, and so that inflation has obviously impacted us as well as we've deployed such a large amount of infrastructure in the past few years. The Southwest plant activation, so Andrew talked about that, a significant amount of infrastructure and assets that were put into service in the past 9 months, and so that will be part of this rate case, is getting those assets into rates as well. Kind of along those lines, we've talked a little bit about, and we had some customer meetings recently regarding a Southwest plant accounting issue. Part of this rate case will address that issue as well and bring resolution to it, and that'll be a collaborative process to bring resolution to that issue. And like I said, we're really trying to ramp up the customer communication piece here early on in the process so that there's opportunity to be involved and have a discussion on it as well. So just a quick overview of the general rate case process. So Global Water will file the actual rate case to the commission. It'll go to the ACC staff, engineers, accountants, their expert team there to review and audit all the various details. They'll do a data request and they can ask for really any documentation that we have on the company. The Residential Utility Consumers Office will also intervene and be part of that process and do their own audit. Eventually, it'll make its way to an administrative law judge who will review the facts and make a determination, and ultimately the 5 elected commissioners will vote on it, and then whatever their vote and decision is will be what's implemented at that time. Specifically, kind of the specifics to this rate case, again, we're way out in advance of it, but if we file, we're anticipating a filing in early 2025, so we'll be back to give another presentation probably in January of 25 on the specifics of what we're filing. Right now we don't have a lot of details because it's so early in the process, but we'll have those specifics at that time. The filing will then be made. It'll work its way through the commission staff, the administrative law judge, the commissioners will vote on it likely sometime in Q1, Q2 of 2026. And then we don't believe any changes would be made until at least June of 2026 or later. So we're 25 months out before any changes would likely be made if approved by the commissioners. All right, like I said, we're trying to do a lot of community outreach, beginning with this presentation. So presenting to staff, council will meet with city staff. We're going to be setting up meetings with HOAs to provide them with information, customer meetings, meeting with groups like MEDA, and the type of outreach we'll do, bill inserts, website updates, media, open houses, future council updates as well. So that's a quick high level, like again, way out in front preview of the rate case that we're planning for early next year. A quick update on water resources. Wanted to do kind of just a couple highlights of the year in review. So one thing we talk a lot about is our designation of assured water supply. And that's kind of the available water that we have for the community to serve at this point in time. So we have about an allocation of about 23,000 acre feet. Last year we used about 8,700 acre feet. So there's still quite a good volume of water to continue to allow for growth and really allow that growth to move forward unhindered for a number of years to come. Now we're continuing to work on the next allocation of water because we know at some point that allocation will be used up, and so that's a major focus of ours right now, and looking not only 5-10 years down the road, but many years down the road, even past that. We continue to focus on conservation tools and giving customers tools to use as they try to be active participants in conservation. So things like leak alerts. We had about 15,000 leak alerts that were sent out last year. We estimated it saved about 13.3 million gallons for customers that they didn't have to pay for that water that they maybe didn't want to use. And then another thing that we did last year that was new was some smartscape and groundwater classes for the community. We had a really great participation. About 164 community members joined that. Something new that we tried, and it was geared towards both professionals, landscape professionals, and also residential type of customers. So that was something that we thought was well received and will continue to do in the future. One other project that we're excited about is another partnership with the city. We were able to get some grant funding through the federal government to put in some recharge. Again, recharge will help to take the excess recycled water that we have in the winter months and actually put it back in the ground, and we get credit for that, and those credits can then be used for future growth. So really a win-win. It helps get it out of the wash, which I know can be a nuisance at times, and put it in the ground for future use. So we appreciate the partnership with the city on that, and we're hopeful to get that going here and later this year or potentially the beginning of next year. And that'll be co-located with our facility here, our wastewater facility here in Maricopa. And then lastly, our customer assistance program, wanted to highlight that. It's always a benefit that's out there. We want to promote it so people that need it know it's available. Again, $700 for water and wastewater customers in annual assistance. And there's a handful of criteria for people to be eligible. So those are the eligibility criteria. One element of it, we have the Salvation Army actually at our facility every Tuesday to help process and facilitate that. And there's other avenues as well. So if somebody wants to just call our phone number, we can help facilitate access to those funds as well. So with that brings us to the end of the presentation, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Council, any questions, concerns? Yes, Councilmember Wade.
Hey, John, thank you very much for the presentation, both of you. I just wanted to speak to the assistance programs that you have supported. As you know, my wife is pretty active in rental assistance programs, and it was a pleasure to see how quickly you would respond, or how quickly Global Water would respond to people who were in need. And at any time of the day or night, if someone had a need, you guys responded. So a lot of people don't know that, so I share it here on this platform so you understand, so they'd understand that you guys are doing what you need to do to help the community. Thank you very much.
I don't know that I can take credit, but we have a great staff that they're available, and they really take that seriously, and they want to help where they can. So appreciate that.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Wade. Councilmember Noor. Oh no, Councilmember Manfredi.
John, great presentation. Andrew, the same, very good job. People have to understand that leak alert that comes is important. I got it for 2 months in a row, and I kept ignoring it. And eventually, I had to do a total pipe replacement in my house because it was leaking under my house. So I looked everywhere. There was no leaks, but you guys were letting me know there was still a leak somewhere. And it was under the slab, so it was a slab leak. And you guys let me know that. Well, you let my wife know, and believe me, she let me know plenty of times. And I said, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. I'll check the toilet bowls. But no, it was a lot of water. But we were able to get that done, and you saved me a headache because if it got worse, I would have had to do a lot more work than I did. So you guys saved me thousands of dollars on that one, which is really good. So if you get a leak alert, have somebody come out and look at the house because it could be a slab leak. I really love the recharge. I used to hate seeing the water go into the wash and then just go away, right? Because you're not using it. But I like the idea of the recharge. I've been hoping and pushing for that for many years, that we can get a recharge capability so that we can take some of that water and put it back in the ground and replenish what we've been using. You know, and you don't see many companies come and say 2 years from now we might be raising your rates, because it is up to the ACC when it happens how much it will go up. But I really do appreciate the coming out and talking to us and talking to the community, and the phone calls we've been getting with the town hall meetings and the discussions about the rates and the issues that you guys had with the overcharge and how you're going to solve that as putting it into the rate case, which I don't think you mentioned, but that's going to be part of your discussion in the rate case, how you'll be able to essentially pay everybody back for the small overcharge that was happening. So that's a good thing. But thanks again, and I love when you guys come out here and chat with us, because it gives us so much more information that we can share with not only the people here, but the people we talk to every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Manfredi. Vice Mayor Lehrman.
Andrew, thank you for the presentation. I want to welcome you and your young family to the city of Maricopa. Thank you for moving here all the way from Texas and making us your new home. And you did beat me in bowling, so good job at that. You did. John, thank you for your service, not just with Global Water, but to our whole community. You've been a great leader in our community, and I just want to second what Councilmember Manfredi said. Thank you for the Leak Alert program. It is extremely important, and the Customer Assistance Program. We thank you for Global Water, not just for providing water, but for really serving our families and our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
John, I have to thank you as well, and the same for Andrew. Thank you, and welcome to the city of Maricopa. My message is a little different in regards to, it has to do with the recharge, which I love, and we owe a lot to our federal congressman for those funds. It's very, very important to acknowledge that. It helps a lot. But what I think is most important regarding the recharge and other elements that you alluded to is that we're not just sitting on status quo. Oh, we only use 8,000 of our acre feet when we have 21,000 acre feet. We're not resting on that. We've been talking for years, and you guys are really working hard to find other sources of water. The recharge is an example, and definitely adding that into our credits. So I just want the folks to know they're not status quo. They're looking always for more ways to bring water to the city of Maricopa, staying ahead of the growth, and that's really important. And then lastly, I always like to talk about the customer assistance, because you touched on it lightly, and our council members have touched on it, but it is so important, and I can only applaud you, because anytime I get an email saying I'm having a hard time, I'm really struggling, I have cancer and I can't work, and whatever the case might be, I just send them directly over to the right person over at Global Water, and you have your specific amounts that you allow for those people in need to utilize in a process for vetting that, and it always seems to work great for those that are in need. So I appreciate that tremendously. I think you guys are really working hard to do a great job, and I really do applaud you, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Again, thanks for the opportunity to present tonight, and reach out anytime. We're here to help, so thanks.
Thank you. All right, that'll take us to the report from the mayor, and I'll turn it over to our council first. Who has anything that they would like, something that they would like? Yes, Councilmember Marsh.
First, I want to congratulate the city of Maricopa and all of you. We reached a new mark in population. It was announced today that our estimated population is over 74,000 now. When I came here, we were around 40,000. And in the year 2000, the population was 1,050. I mean, that's growth. It's been a busy 2 weeks since the last council meeting for me. On May 8th, or June 8th, at the We Talk, You Listen, or maybe it's you listen, we talk. We listen, you talk. Paul Shirk gave a presentation on Maricopa's history. Paul leads the Maricopa Historical Society, and he's a great storyteller. Later that day, I participated in a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the Asian Soul Copa Kitchen, along with the mayor and her husband. The owners have had a food truck here for several years, and it's been very successful. They finally decided it was time to open a bricks-and-mortar restaurant. It's just south of Bash's. Great menu, great food, great service. Give it a try. That's the Asian Soul Copa Kitchen. On the 9th, Global Waters Conservation Specialist got a tour from me of the Desert Cedars tract that had been converted from turf that requires a lot of water. We converted it to xeriscape. It cost us about $130,000 to convert 4 acres, but it saves us about $35,000 a year. Now, that turf was put there by developers back when our subdivision was built in order to sell desert land to people from Minnesota and Iowa and so forth. Desert landscaping is beautiful. There's a demo garden over at Copper Sky. You can take a look and see what desert landscaping looks like. And I would encourage any HOA to get in touch with Global Water and talk about turf conversion. On the 10th, my wife and I went to the Hope Women's Center for their 40th anniversary celebration. I don't know if you know about that organization, but it saves young women and families in distress in hard situations and gets them out of it. Very impressive organization. On the 14th, the Pinal County Water Augmentation Board of Directors meeting, I was representing Maricopa in that meeting, and we got an update on the Colorado River, and we got an update on a possible cloud seeding project that may or may not happen. And I work with Jake Lenderking from Global Water on that. On the 15th, I spoke at the Maricopa leadership class. So I met all this wonderful group of people that graduated today. On the 17th, I sponsored the Lunch and Learn at the Senior Center. The Pinal Gila Council for Senior Citizens speaker described the wide range of services they provide to the 10 senior centers they run in Pinal County. And I think we should get some of those services into our senior center. On the 18th, we had a Saturday ribbon cutting at The Way Wellness Center. That was also with the mayor. The Way Wellness Center is a place where trained and knowledgeable health service providers are focused on helping people here in Maricopa. Yesterday, on the 20th, I participated in the May meeting of the Senior Advisory Committee. One key feature there was Elizabeth Howell reported that the extremely successful shred-a-thon we ran in April had a record number of carloads come through with paper to shred, food to donate, and drugs to dispose of. We'll definitely be doing a shred-a-thon after tax day next year. I want to give you a reminder that next month's Lunch and Learn is June 21st, and the speaker is our mayor, Nancy Smith. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Marsh. Councilmember Guerrero.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Like Councilmember Marsh, these last few weeks have also been pretty busy on my end as well. I have 4 events I wanted to bring a report back for. I also had the opportunity to tour the Hope Women's Center for their 40th anniversary. Such an impressive organization. Those of you might be unfamiliar with what they do. They are a faith-based, they're trauma-informed nonprofit that encourages and also equips vulnerable women and teen girls to get through some of the challenges and struggles that they're facing. Since they opened their doors in Maricopa in 2020, in December, listen to some of these statistics. They have had over 4,000 client visits over those 4 years. About 81% of those clients are single women. About 16% are teen girls. They have taught over 6,000 life skill classes in those 4 years and over 366 parenting classes. They've served a total of 101 children with about a total of 3,339 volunteer hours for those classes. Over those 4 years, they've had 176 volunteers provide 7,232 volunteer hours. It's a remarkable organization. You can volunteer, you can make donations. They're easy to connect with. They have a simple website you can look at hopewomencenter.org. You can also simply text them if you are or know of somebody who is in crisis at the number 4 and then the word HOPE. It's 44673, and they can link you to the services that you might be looking for to help somebody in need. The next event I'd like to talk about is on Saturday the 11th. I had an opportunity to attend the graduating class of our CERT, that's our Community Emergency Response Team. We had 5 graduates of this class. Some will go on to join our city CERT team, and we're grateful for even the ones that came to just be educated a little bit on how to better help their neighbors and their family in emergency here locally. If you're interested in joining the next CERT basic class, they'll be holding about 3 or 4 of them throughout the year. You can just reach out to me or to Mike Buskell, who can help you find the right application. Then on the 16th of Thursday, I had the privilege to attend the graduating ceremony of 3 of our fire and medical recruits. And this was a remarkable evening. It was held up in Mesa, in their Mesa Arts Center. If you've ever been there, it's a beautiful venue. And there was over 53 recruits that graduated that night. 3 of them are going to call Maricopa their home. One of the highlights that evening was a video that was put together. If you're not sure, if you don't know what the recruitment process is, the academy, it covers 16 weeks. And it's grueling. It is unbelievable what these men and women are trained to do and to become. And so this highlight video was phenomenal to see some of the challenges and the tests that these men and women had to pass in order to be considered as a firefighter. So it goes to say a lot of the level of service and the physical and the mental demand that we place on those men and women that serve us. I was grateful that we had an opportunity to recognize them here this evening. So I want to just express my gratitude and a big thank you and a congratulations to 3 of our newest probationary fire members, Emily Kohlhauer, Jib Ibarra, and Camden Crum, who will be joining our family here shortly. So thank you, Chief Patasi, for raising a good next crop of generational firefighters. I love it. Thank you. On just this last Friday on the 17th, this will be my last update here, but I had an opportunity to tour the Boys and Girls Club of the Sun Quarters facility in Casa Grande to learn a little bit more about what the programming that they brought, not only to the children's side of things, but to the teen side, as we're looking to hopefully be able to bring some of those services here closer to Maricopa for home. They're great partners with the city, as you know. They already have several programs established in some of our elementary schools here. If you're unfamiliar with any of the things that they provide for after-school services and summer programs, they're worth a look. You can look them up also on their website, Boys and Girls Club of the Sun Corridor. And Mayor, thank you very much. This is all of my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Gettle. Councilmember Wade?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to highlight a couple of activities that our youth have been exposed to or been participating in. First of all, I was able to attend the senior night for Maricopa High School, and it was remarkable the amount of scholarship money, the amount of activities that these young people had involved themselves in, and it was just great to see the look on their faces and their parents' faces after they received recognition for their awards. There were about 11 young men and women who were vying to join the military. That actually seems like a decrease over the last year. There were about 20 last year. But again, they were very proud, family members were proud, and some of the presenters that were here to present them with their awards were very impressed. And we've got, anyone who knows me knows that I say stop the buses because I believe we have an opportunity to have an outstanding educational system here in the city of Maricopa, and I'd like to continue with that effort as well. Secondly, I was able to attend the Black Student Union's graduation ceremony for their seniors. And that's another organization that was very small at one time, but it seemed through the efforts of the organizers and the young people themselves, they have exploded. And it was really good to see the excitement on their faces, the pride in the parents for their young people who were graduating. The seniors got a chance to speak, and they set the gauntlet down for the upcoming students. And it was, as I said, really good to see that. So thank you, Madam Mayor. I appreciate
Thank you, Councilmember Wade. Councilmember Knorr. I always want to call you Anna Marie. That's how I've always referred.
I answer to that too,
Okay.
Mayor. Thanks, Mayor. Just quickly, I wanted to wish everyone a happy graduation week. It is graduation week here in the city of Maricopa, and so you're probably going to see some increased traffic tonight if you were out there, tomorrow night, and then Thursday is MHS's graduation, and there's over 600 students graduating from Maricopa High School on Thursday night, which is really exciting, and the last single high school graduation for MUSD. Next year, they'll be spread out between the two high schools, but just be patient because there's going to be a lot of traffic heading to celebrate those graduates, and it's really exciting. And then you can look forward to next week where you'll have probably less traffic in the morning because everyone won't be trying to get to school. So think about that.
That's always
That's
a good
all I
thing.
have. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Councilmember Knorr. Councilmember Manfredi.
As everybody goes first, I just check stuff off, right? It's like, yeah, I was there, I did that, and I was gonna say congratulations to the graduates, but this one over here. So over the last couple of weeks, we've done a couple meetings for Maricopa Association of Governments, and we were talking about transportation and infrastructure, as well as the Rural Transportation Advisory Committee. I don't know if anyone knows, probably not, but we passed a bill a few years ago that provided some money to some of the projects that we're looking at within the rural areas of Arizona. Some of that comes here, of course. But unfortunately, the money that we were able to get is not enough to do anything today. Because if you got approved for it a couple of years ago, you worry about one thing and one thing only that everybody talks about, is that's inflation. So we're talking about how we can get more money from the state for some of the inflationary measures. So those are the really boring meetings that we get to attend so that we can help and make sure that you guys are getting the transportation and infrastructure needs taken care of. And I think it was Bob who mentioned population and how our new population numbers came out, and Global mentioned it when they were up here, John mentioned it, that we're the 5th fastest growing city now. And a lot of people that moved here in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12 say, I miss it when it was a small town and I didn't know it was going to be this big. And unfortunately, I was reading an article today, and the article was talking about by 2015, we'd have 150,000 people in the city of Maricopa and the surrounding area. And by 2030, we'd have 300,000 people. So we're well behind where we should be based on the projections. I mean, we had this little recession that happened that really knocked us down a couple steps, but we're coming out of that. And when we're coming out of that, it's important to realize that now you'll start seeing all of the other growth that you want. The Home Depot and the Lowe's are coming, and all the other restaurants will follow them, and you'll see more grocery stores coming. They're coming, they're looking, can't tell you who, but they're coming. More grocery stores, more restaurants, they're all coming. And with that brings more industrial. And we were just talking about some industrial things that will be coming to the city of Maricopa and how that can provide thousands of jobs. And this is not pie in the sky stuff. This is actual people coming to us looking to relocate in the city of Maricopa. So these are good things. And as we grow, more and more things will happen here, and more people we can keep off of the 347 traveling out of town for work, and that's important too. But yeah, so exciting stuff. It's a lot of stuff happening.
Thank you, Councilmember Manfredi. Vice Mayor Lehrman. Oh, she's good. Okay, have a few things to share. As Bob indicated, I attended the ribbon cutting for Asian Soul's Copa Kitchen. Go check it out. It's by Bash's. It was delicious. Also did the ribbon cutting for a new small business, the Way Wellness Center on Smith Inc. This is for mental health. I know some of you, no, I'm just teasing. But I think this doctor is going to do a great job for the needs that we have within the city. And then I know these folks all have attended the graduation of high school students, but I went and spoke at Molly's House of Little Feet. And I'm telling you, there's nothing that brings a bigger smile than seeing some preschoolers graduating into kindergarten with caps and gowns and, sashes, and oh my gosh, they were adorable. But I loved being there and speaking to them and encouraging the parents to soak that in. And that's important for our high school parents as well, our junior high parents. Soak that in, because I'm telling you, time flies, so it's an exciting period. In regards to 347, because there's always so much going on, Ron Angerami is not here tonight, right? Okay, this guy is awesome, along with Bill Robertson and James Singleton and Tina Dugan and Priscilla Benke. They all, and I'm missing a couple, Adam Leach is joining this group. They all serve on a group called 347facts.com. It's a community group that is helping the city of Maricopa advocate for needs on 347. And as of today, they've sent over, it's got to be over 600 letters now, right, James? 600 letters to 98 officials. That's all of our state senators, all of our state representatives, all of our ADOT members, the leadership role, all of the Arizona State Transportation Board members, and now we're looking to include the Pinal County supervisors as well. They've all received 800 letters, and I encourage you to go to 347facts.com. It's represented by this group. But anyway, Ron Angerami, who's also on the group, went to the Arizona State Transportation Board meeting in Tucson. I had a conflict, and he was nice enough to go. And he spoke on the number of accidents, and this past couple weeks we've had quite a few of those, haven't we? So it's important for us to always stay in front of them. He's talking about how the commute on 347 is so unpredictable, and we have to do better on that. The number of social media posts expressing the concerns of Maricopa citizens, and the ADOT 2018 study that showed that 347 was a high-need mobility, safety, and freight route. It's a huge regional problem. We all know that. So he spoke on that, and then he also reminded them that this month was the 1-year anniversary of Heidi Fernandez, who lost her life, a 10-year-old girl, a softball player who lost her life on that road. So he reminded them of that. In the meeting, ADOT presented a chart that had a summary of all comments sent in for their 5-year plan. And we've been working hard to see what all we can get on the 5-year plan. On that chart, 54% of the statewide comments came from residents in the city of Maricopa. That's awesome. 54%. That was impressive. And in fact, I was told a person from ADOT made the comment if there was an award, they'd give it to Maricopa. They'd never seen anything like it. So you all are helping, you all are participating, and I love it and encourage you to continue. And when you feel something new on 347, don't be afraid to use that 347facts.com for another email. I mean, there's nothing that says you only have to send one. I do want to talk, Elizabeth Howell is not here, and Councilmember Marsh did touch on shredding, and I want to give you some fascinating numbers. So over the years, in terms of pounds of food donated during a shredding event, it's averaged around 700. This year, 1,500 pounds of food was donated. The number of cars, this was new. We had medication turn in. The number of cars was 109. People that didn't know what to do with their medications, and so they turned them in. Over the years, $250 was the amount of cash donations, $500 this time. People were just really generous. And then over the years, the pounds of paper shredded has averaged around 7,000. This year, 12,500 pounds of paper. So next year, be on the lookout for your ability to shred all that junk. My husband and I actually went through our files, and I have a whole bin, but we were out of town, so I couldn't get rid of it. Darn it, but I'll be waiting. So that's your report from Mayor and Council, and I'll turn it over to the City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Members of the Council, just two quick things. First of all, to build off of the 347 discussion, obviously we're nearing completion of the first phase of the widening within the city limits. We'll continue to press forward on widening outside of the city limits.
Let me ask first, do you love it? Have you experienced it? It's awesome. I mean, if you can tell me why it's horrible, I want to know, but it's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And obviously lots of improvements associated with that, with extra lanes, with the continuous turnout of Lakeview Parkway and all those kind of things. That being said, with that project wrapping up, we'll soon move into the next phase, which will, within the city limits, which will be the intersection of Smith Inky and 347. That'll be huge for us in terms of capacity improvements, getting more cars through that intersection, particularly in the morning. We see the backups that often occur backing up through the Lakeview and Cobblestone North Light. We hope to get more cars through that intersection quicker, and so we've got some improvements designed and ready to kick that off this summer. So we'll continue to work through those inconveniences and deal with those, all in the end goal of becoming a better community, and that's what we'll continue to do. The second thing I just wanted to say, obviously I was able to speak with our Citizen Leadership Academy on Wednesday last week, and we often hear the teacher and student relationship, and I always feel like I'm the student in that type of a situation, because I learned so much from our great citizens. And one thing that we talked so much about this week was leadership. And as they get their certificates and receive their certificates tonight that says that they're a graduate of the Citizen Leadership Academy, we really challenge them to take upon themselves that name as a leader of the community. And I think without exception, they've taken on that challenge. And so really excited and proud to work alongside such great leaders within our community, both the 19 graduates that we had this week, as well as the 376 that we had before. So exciting for our community to continue to graduate people through that program. With that, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, City Manager Bitter. Okay, that'll take us to the call to the public. Let me read how this process works. I think it's important to make sure we are all addressing the right, approaching with the right idea of what to expect. The procedures to follow if you address the council are: council requests that you express your interests, your ideas in 3 minutes or less, and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about any city employee, a fellow citizen, or anyone else, whether in the audience or not. The mayor will limit discussion whenever they deem such an action is appropriate to the proper conduct of the meeting. At the conclusion of an open call to the public, individual members of the council may respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the council, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. However, the council members of the council shall not discuss or take legal action on any matters during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed and for discussion and legal action. So, given that, I will say also a lot of people approach the podium and they tend to look out there, but you are approaching to speak to council, so your focus should be in this direction. And I do have one speaker card, and that first speaker is Patrick McCobb.
Hello, thank you, Mayor Smith and all of the City Council, for giving us some time to share with you this evening. Before I get started, I'd like a founder of our group, Terry Oldfield, who proposed the original Veterans Memorial. He'd like to share a few words with Council.
Good evening. The whole idea of a Veterans Memorial Park here in Maricopa came about with a trip that Jim Bussey and I made down to Marena, the Veterans Cemetery, and we were kind of impressed with that location. We thought, on our way back, how nice would it be to have a Veterans Memorial Park right here in Maricopa of our own, where our citizens could come down and honor those who have fallen. But we expanded that real quickly because we realized there's a slogan that's out that says, "Some gave all, the ultimate sacrifice." But all these veterans gave some. And so the memorial park that we envisioned would be a place where all veterans and the community could meet, learn more about our veteran community. From the moment that we set foot with the city in 22, we were overwhelmed with the support that we got. I remember Jim gave a presentation about fall of 22. I was too shy. I'm kind of shy right now. But right after that presentation, the city manager came right up to us and says, you know, this is going to be a priority project, and I'm going to see that it does happen. So we're looking forward to that. However, in December 22, Jim passed away. And I recruited Mike Delaney to help me because there was just the three of us at that time on our little task force to make sure that this project gets done. And it has continued with the support of the city staff. And Mike has kept me focused on one thing, that someday we'll have this Veterans Memorial Park, and it'll be a park that Jim Bussey would be extremely proud of. And again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
As Terry mentioned, there's an awful lot of work yet to do. First of all, we want to thank everybody on this council, Vice Mayor Lehrman, Mr. Manfredi, Mayor Smith, everybody on this council. We, the veterans in this group, want to thank all of you for all of the hard work and dedication to the veterans that you've put in. But we especially want to thank you because I've heard from a little bird that there's been significant dollars put into the budget for 2025 for the Veterans Memorial here in town, and for that we thank all of you very much. Thank you for your time this evening.
Yes, you may have a minute or two. Absolutely.
Could I ask the veterans to either stand up or raise their hand? Anyone? I just want to make a point that, you know, we're not Arizona's veterans. We're not, well, we're in Pinal County, but we're not really there. We're Maricopa's veterans. And so we appreciate what the city's doing, and we're looking forward to seeing this vision that Jim and Terry came up with. And again, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Would anyone else like to approach the podium at this time? All right. Yep, please come forward. Give us your name, and I'll give you 3 minutes. It's a trade.
How you doing, Mayor? How you doing? I'm City Councilman. My name is Cedric Brown. I just moved, me and my wife, she's from Detroit. I just moved here from Alabama. It was a pleasure to meet you on Saturday of the ribbon cutting. My pastor here of a Blaze Ministry, Bishop Hill. I just want to say I have passion for children. Where I come from, I was over a youth ministry for my church, and I go out and spread the word of God and lift up the name of Jesus. And I see so many kids, not just, because we all one family. And I would just like to see more for the youth here because they are our future. And I just want to thank you for just giving me this platform to talk. But I just want to say, I go out and see so many kids say, Mr. Brown, we don't have nothing to do. So if you can just come together and let's do something for our children. Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much. I saw another young lady. Please come forward. Give us your name, and I'll give you 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Wakefield. I am a nurse practitioner, and I own a mobile medical service in Maricopa. So I go out to people's homes. I do your primary care. We do IV infusions. And we especially cater to the seniors who can't get out. I know a lot of times it's really busy. We do come to your job if you need labs done, if you need somebody to be seen. We will come out to where you are at work. Sometimes you only have 30 minutes and you're like, hey, look, I just need a quick checkup. Something is going on. So we do come out and we do that. We also service, I do have a brick and mortar office that's in Tempe, but I'm trying to get one in Maricopa. So we'll see how that works out because I'm working on it. But I just wanted to come and introduce introduce myself. I wanted to meet the mayor. I came a few weeks ago, but you were out of town on vacation. I hope you had a great vacation.
I did, thank you.
Good. And I just wanted to say hello to everybody and let you guys know that we are here and we service. We take most insurances, especially Medicare. We do take some access, and we do take commercial insurance and veterans insurance. So I just wanted you guys to know I was here.
Very nice, thank you. Would anyone else like to approach the podium? Yes, please do.
Good evening to the mayor and to all of the council members. My name is Bishop Dion Hill. We just started a ministry here in Maricopa at the La Quinta Hotel. Our service times is at 10:30 a.m. Mayor, I had an opportunity and a pleasure to meet you at the ribbon cutting, as well. Also had an opportunity to meet Councilman Wade and Councilman Bob. I had an opportunity to meet these gentlemen as well. Hello to the rest of you all. And we just wanted to introduce ourselves. Our ministry is Blaze Christian Development Ministries, and we're just here to offer support, spiritual guidance, and support for all of those citizens of Maricopa who would like to stop by and just visit our ministry. We're just a ministry of people helping people. And so in whatever capacity we could serve here in Maricopa, this is what I'm looking forward to doing. My wife and I, we moved from Chicago to Arizona, and had I known about Maricopa when we first moved here, this would have been exactly where we located. But our future plans is to relocate right here. But some of our members are here, and so we started our ministry out here. And so we're gradually making that effort toward moving here and being here to give our full service to Maricopa. So again, thank you, Mayor. Thank all of you all for what you do. And I'm so looking forward to serving Maricopa. God bless you.
Thank you. We have one more approaching.
They were supposed to invite the city council to the flag raising on Memorial Day, 27th, Monday, at 0800 at the Veterans Center. So I am inviting you. I've already sent the mayor an email. Well, I'm a little late, but I'm inviting you all, and any veteran that are left in here, come on out at Monday morning and enjoy the ceremony. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. All right, anyone else like to approach the podium? Last chance. Seeing none, I will close the call to the public. That'll take us to the consent agenda. At this time, we have a consent agenda 7.1 through 7.5. I do not have any speaker cards from the audience. Council members, do you have any questions, concerns? Do I have a motion? Move to approve by Councilmember Wade. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Marsh. Another opportunity for questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. That'll take us at this time to 8.1, which is an appointment for appointing one citizen to fill the vacancy on Parks and Recreation Committee. There are actually 2 vacancies. Myself has a vacancy and Councilmember Wade. So Councilmember Wade, I'll let you go first.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You know, it's great that people will have an opportunity to attend the Leadership Academy because it gives you an opportunity to see where you might be able to fit in with your skill sets, your desire. The mayor and I share that common goal and our common bond in that we both graduated out of class number 1. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's why we like each other so much.
Yeah.
But anyway, there are other citizens out there that get the spirit and come forward. There's, you know, quite frankly, and I just say it just because it's true, sometimes people will complain, but they won't do anything about trying to change their situation. So when people do step out on faith and decide that they want to contribute to the overall growth and development of the city and be helpful, we should applaud them and thank them for doing so. And I have one gentleman right now on this particular position, and he reached out once he was in the process of going through the academy, understood the concept of supporting the community, and reached out, and it just so happens that things aligned, that I had a position available to accept him in his desire to support us, and that's Dr. William Ross. Dr. Ross, would you mind standing, please? And he shall be the newest member on the Parks and Recreation Committee.
Council, any questions?
If the council so accepts.
Okay. Council, any questions, comments? All right, I'll go ahead and make my nomination. I would like Adam Leach, would you please stand? Adam Leach was one of the 3 finalists to have the seat that Councilmember Knorr received, but he was an excellent candidate and wants to definitely stay in touch with what's going on. He's already accepted invitations that I've given him to various meetings that I have going on, that he can see how things happen. I love that. Actually, there are 5 people that were part of the 13 people that accepted those invitations. I appreciate that. But going back to Adam Leach, he's been a wonderful advocate already within the city. He actually has a love and passion for youth and ensuring that our youth are healthy and involved. He is now the director of the Rocket Challenge for our middle school students, which is something that we both have a passion for, and I loved going out there this year and watching it. And he has coached many opportunities to coach our youth. And I'm sure I'm missing a whole plethora of things because he really has a passion for our community. I think he'll be a great asset to the Parks and Recreation Committee, and so I would like to put his name in for nomination. And at this time, do you have any questions or comments? Thank you, Adam. Yeah. So do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve from Councilmember Manfredi. Do I have a second? Second by Vice Mayor Lehrman. Any other comments, questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries. Congratulations. That'll take us to item 8.2. And this is an appointment for Planning and Zoning, and this is Councilmember Wade's appointment, so I'll let him take it over.
Thank you again, Mayor. Ditto on what I said previously. You know, when someone steps up and wants to support the efforts of the community and puts himself out there to do so, you have to recognize that that's the person that's quality and somebody that you want around. Certainly somebody that you would want to have representing you as citizens, just as you have us doing so. Under the Planning and Zoning Commission, I'd like to present Mr. Maurice Thomas. Maurice is a long-term citizen of the city of Maricopa, a member of Mount Moriah AME Church. As a worker, he's a dude that gets things done, and he puts himself into whatever it is that it takes to make it happen. He makes it happen. So I'm sure that the people of Planning and Zoning, which is an excellent organization, will be happy to have someone such as Maurice to come and join them in their group and support the city to his efforts. So I'd like to present to you, if you're still accepted, Mr. Maurice Thomas.
Council, any comments, questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Marsh. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Manfredi. Any additional comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, that'll take us to the last agenda item, which is 8.3. And this is the mayor and council shall discuss and possibly take action on an ethics violation formal complaint dated April 23rd, 2024. Council, may I have anyone want to present a thought or direction?
Sure.
Oh, Councilmember Knorr.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the council and the staff for all of the background information and preparation leading up to this agenda item, because I think this is very important. I think ethics are important, and it's important to ensure that we are properly vetting these. And but based on the previous council's actions and their thought process and direction on the ethics code, it seems to me that the ethics code is to be used by our council members to bring up ethics issues amongst ourselves rather than a forum for the community to assess their feelings about the elected officials, because the community has the ability to elect us and to recall us. And that's kind of the governmental system we have, where that's where the community has the opportunity to choose who represents them. And then second to that, my concern, if the ethics process was opened up to anybody could file a complaint, is the sheer cost that that would create for the city, because to do an investigation of this magnitude for an ethics proposed ethics violation, a minimum is $5,000, but could significantly increase depending on what the alleged violation is. And so, you know, it just concerns me that the taxpayer money could be used for that purpose, and we'd have no cap on that and no ability to stop that. And so, in my opinion, I think the previous council's direction that the ethics code is exclusively for the council to address ethics amongst ourselves, I think that that is important for us to consider.
Thank you, Councilmember Knorr. Additional comments, questions? Yes, Councilmember Gettle.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of years ago, as I was appointed to the seat, one of the duties and responsibilities I have is to review that code and also pledge to follow the ethics code. And so as I carefully read that 2 years ago, it was very clear in the code, to me anyway, that this was intended for a intra-council ability for us to be able to police ourselves and to keep each other in check. With this alleged violation complaint being brought forward has allowed me to again review that same code, and I still stand with that same opinion that this code is intended for us to be able to be an internal check and balance between us. As Councilmember Knorr already indicated, the proper channel is a recall or a voting out of office, and that's where the power of the people lie in. For council, it's a little bit more complicated with that, and having that additional lever to pull is a very helpful one if we ever come into contact with a serious ethics violation. So I will be voting to take no action on this formal complaint when that motion is made. So I'd just like to explain that vote. So thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Councilmember Gettle. Councilmember Wade.
Yes, I've taken some thought about this issue for some time in terms of how do we allow the community to redress issues that are important to them for the people that serve. And as Councilwoman Knorr stated, Councilmember Knorr stated, there is a process for doing that, particularly when it's not played out in social media and exposure to things that are negative in nature, but that offers a professional and a qualified way to address the needs for ethics violations. We would hope, and I would hope, I did hope, that when I was running for office that you would consider me to be ethical in my nature when you elected me. And I had no desire to change that, and I try to operate under those standards. And if, therefore, but if I don't, there is a way to address the issue. And so I, too, would be voting no on this issue because I believe that we have the ability to do so. And also, we have the responsibility to make sure we make valid decisions and judgments based on what is available to us to operate. And I'm hopeful that we can move past whatever issues that might be presented before us at the time that we needed to act upon it.
Thank you, Councilmember Wade. Councilmember Marsh.
Yeah, with all that said, there is a way for the general public to use the ethics policy. You can come and talk with a member of council, and if you can sell your thoughts to the member of council, that member can file a complaint against another council member. So there is a path.
Councilmember Gettle.
And Councilmember Marsh articulated what I was going to say, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Manfredi.
I got jumped over there. My goal here was to simply say I'll recuse myself from this discussion because obviously the complaint was filed against me by a fellow that I worked with some other stuff in the community. And unfortunately, so I'll recuse myself from the discussion. But I wanted to do that before, and I didn't get a chance to jump in. Sorry.
Thank you. I need to look right sometimes instead of left first. All right, Vice Mayor Lehrman.
Mayor, I was present at the council meeting in May of 2020. I attended that meeting and observed the actions of the council. There was a consensus of council at that time, and they agreed that an ethics code is not to be used by a third party, and I continue to agree with that at this time. Therefore, I move council not accept the ethics complaint received on April 23rd, 2024.
So, okay, thank you very much. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Wade. I would like to add to this, going back to my State of the City address. Civility is very important in our community. If we want our community to be a polite community, to be able to talk pros and cons, to be able to talk something that you agree with that somebody else disagrees with in a civil manner is very important. Providing factual information is very important. And many times that doesn't happen, especially if you're getting your facts off of Facebook. In most cases, I can tell you that when people call me, I can say, no, that's not factual, and I can provide the factual information. Those things are important to me, and I talked about it during the State of the City. And so I think we really need to look at definitely always improving our ability to speak in a civil manner, no matter who it is that's speaking, whether it's our residents, whether it's our council members. That should be our goal, and that, to me, is of utmost importance. So given that, I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any additional conversation, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Yes, Councilmember Wade.
I'm sorry, I just have one thing to say.
Sure.
The city of Maricopa sets a standard. We have set a standard for the way we handle our finances. We've set a standard by the way we communicate with our community. We have set a standard by the way that we address issues of concern. This is a standard that we want to set, and our city has done so. So I'm confident in making this decision.
Very good. Councilmember Gatto.
Mayor, may I suggest that we also direct staff in helping us to maybe clarify this code so that it is a little bit more clear of who is intended to be the complainant?
Absolutely. As someone mentioned, when this an ethics code last came to City Council, it was dialogued on heavily. You can watch that video if you'd like to. What's the date of the meeting? May of 2020. You can go watch that video, read the minutes, but it was directed by the council at that time to change the code. The red lines are available, and it never made its way in front of council. And so I think your motion, would you modify it to include the fact that there'd be direction to make those modifications?
Yes, please.
Do you accept that as the second? I appreciate it. Okay. Any additional comments, questions? Given that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. And that brings us to the end of our City Council. Thank you all for being here.